This pregnant woman is running with all her might as she's being chased by two masquerades. Both of them were looking deadly. She ran to a point where she was facing two rivers. Next, she suddenly found herself being stationed to a bed in a room she cannot recognize. Ugomma woke up suddenly, shouting and sweating as she was so frightened. Her mother-in-law rushed into her room when she heard her screaming. Wait, have you subscribed to my channel yet? If you haven't, oya go now. We will wait for you. That is the only way you can support me. Don't forget to also hit the notification bell and select all so you can get more of our updates. Now let's go back to our story. So Ugomma stays with her mother-in-law, who she calls Mama. She started staying with Mama when she was 6 months pregnant, so Mama can properly take care of her. Her husband does business in the city and returns at intervals to stay with his family. This is Ugomma's second pregnancy, as she and her husband already have a daughter. So as Mama rushed into Ugomma's room, Ugomma narrated the dream she had and how she found herself stationed to a bed. She was so scared as she narrated. They were chasing me endlessly. What did I do? Who did I offend? Mama grabbed her in a light embrace, consoling her and telling her not to be afraid. She began praying and rebuking any evil attack on her granddaughter and daughter-in-law. All this happened while Ugomma was 8 months pregnant. So 1 month after, Ugomma was in labor and she was rushed to a hospital for delivery. The delivery was successful and Ugomma gave birth to a baby girl, but the baby had talipes on both foot. Poor Ugomma, she doesn't know what that is. She just noticed the deformity on her baby's legs and she became very sad and started crying. You don't have to worry if you don't understand what talipes is as well. As you watch further, it will be explained. So Ugomma called the nurse on duty and asked her if she noticed how her baby's legs looked. The nurse confirmed that they saw it, but she needs to stop crying, as it is in the time past that people don't understand what it is. But now, it is not beyond medical understanding. The doctor will explain better when he's around, she said. It is not until the next morning the doctor came back to the hospital, so Ugomma went to see him. Seeing Ugomma, doctor never acted ignorant of the situation. He seemed to have been briefed. So he welcomed Ugomma inside his office. I heard you have been crying concerning your child's legs, he said. It is not something that doesn't have medical solution presently. In the old days, it is being seen as a baby's fate he or she will have to grow with. But these days, science and medicine have proved that it can be corrected. So since it is at this tender age, I will refer you to an orthopedic hospital. What is this condition called? Ugomma asked. Talipes is the name, also known as clubfoot. It is a common foot abnormality in which the foot points downwards and inwards, and the person who has it seems to be walking on their ankle. To understand better what the doctor is saying, look at this image closely. The left is a normal foot, while the right is a club foot. So doctor referred her to an orthopedic hospital. Seeing the name of the hospital, Ugomma recognized it, as the owner is her uncle, whom they shared the same grandfather. Ugomma became a bit relieved after all the medical advice. She thanked the doctor and left. Early the next morning, she went to her uncle's hospital where she was referred. After explaining everything to him, her uncle checked her baby. After checking her baby, her uncle told her that is not something that will undergo operation, that POP will correct it within 3 months. He then told her to register her child. Bring her when she's 3 weeks old, he said, so she can begin the process of correction. By then, the baby's legs would have been strong enough to accept the correction. We will use POP on both legs at this tender age before the tendons and cartilages around the ankles become too strong. So Ugomma thanked her uncle and went home with a plan to return in 3 weeks' time. As expected, Ugomma began receiving visitors, all congratulating her for her newborn baby. Ugomma made a point of duty never to allow refreshments to be lacking in her house. She buys garden eggs, granuts, biscuits, and drinks regularly and always restock when they reduce. One quiet afternoon, Ugomma had a knock on the door. The knock was slow and low. She was only able to hear the knock because the whole environment was quiet. Ugomma was the only one at home as Mama and her first granddaughter Somto, who was 2 years old, went to the market. Ugomma initially thought it was Somto, her daughter, knocking, so she ignored. But hearing the knock again, she went to check who it was. Opening the door, Ugomma found herself standing in front of an elderly woman who could only stand by leaning on her walking stick. "Oh, welcome, ma," Ugomma said, and she quickly ushered the woman inside. Immediately, Ugomma rushed inside her room to get cola for her. She took some garden eggs and granuts, put it in a tray, and brought it out. The woman thanked her, but requested for it to be put in a nylon, as she didn't intend to spend time. So Ugomma went back inside, brought a nylon, and packed the cola for the woman. The woman congratulated her on her newborn baby, then stood up to leave. On getting to the exit door, she turned back and looked at Ugomma with an aging, curious eyes. "Seems your baby has a problem with her legs," she said. Ugomma replied, "Yes," while she raised an eye in surprise because the woman never saw her baby as she was sleeping inside the room. After Ugomma responded, the woman said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine and the baby will be able to walk properly." Ugomma thanked her and the woman left. Just as the door closed behind the woman, Ugomma remembered she didn't ask the woman who she was nor her name. So she quickly opened the door to meet up with the woman and asked. She almost collided with her mother-in-law as she rushed out. Where are you rushing to?" Mama asked. "Did you not see any woman that just came out of this house now?" Ugomma asked Mama. "No, I didn't see," Mama responded. "She is elderly and was moving with a walking stick. She couldn't have gone so far," Ugomma continued. "I said I did not see anyone," Mama repeated. "But don't worry, she must have gone. I hope you gave her refreshments," Mama asked. "Trust me now." "I did," Ugomma replied. "Okay," Mama said. So they all went back inside the house. When baby was 3 weeks old, Ugomma took her back to her uncle's hospital so she can begin the process. On getting to the hospital, her uncle told her to come back when the baby was 6 weeks. "But you told me to come back when my baby was 3 weeks," Ugomma said in tears. "Don't worry, just come back in 6 weeks. I know what made me say so." Ugomma went back home that day with frustration. So when the baby was 6 weeks, Ugomma returned to the hospital for them to put the POP on her baby's legs, which they did. But instead of putting it on both legs, they put on just one leg. Ugomma asked why, and her uncle told her the baby cannot carry it when put on both legs at once, as it is heavy. "But I was told that it was going to be put on both legs so as to be corrected at once." "No," he replied. "They will be taking it one after the other every 2 weeks." Ugomma was not pleased, but there was nothing she could do. I mean, he is the professional. She had to obey his instructions. She kept on going to the orthopedic hospital with her baby, as they promised that within 3 months, the legs will be corrected. So here's the thing. Instead of the orthopedic doctor himself, that is Ugomma's uncle, to be putting the POP, it will be a houseman doctor that works for him. This made Ugomma to start feeling that it is not properly done, because it is more than 7 months at this time, as against the 3 months she was promised for the correction. You would have felt the same way as well if you were Ugomma. So she requested to see her uncle. When she finally met with her uncle, he said, "I thought POP will be able to correct it. It's like we are going to carry out operation on the legs." "Oh, so it is why you have been delaying with the POP, putting one leg today and putting the other next 2 weeks. You wanted it to result to operation," Ugomma said. "It is not fair," she continued, "because at the beginning you said with POP everything will be corrected within 3 months, as the bones are not yet strong." Her uncle pleaded with her, then told her to go and make payment for anesthesia so they can carry out the operation soon. While she left, she was not pleased. If they couldn't handle the POP process successfully, how was she sure they could handle the operation, she thought. So she started consulting with people to know what to do next. After consultations, she was advised to withdraw her child from that hospital and take her to a general hospital. She took the advice and went to a general hospital with her child. Getting to the general hospital, the nurses there started pouring insults on her. "You look so educated, yet you had a deformed child like this and kept her till when the legs became damaged. Then you brought her to the hospital so we can perform miracle on her." Ugomma started weeping. Those words made her to remember all the efforts she put in for her child's leg to get better. In tears, she explained all her experiences to them, and they regretted all their utterances. They felt pity for Ugomma and apologized to her. "We thought you just left the child's legs without making any effort," one of the nurses said. As she was still discussing with the nurses, one of the plastic surgeons was passing and saw Ugomma discussing with the nurses in tears. He stopped and asked Ugomma what the problem was. Ugomma also explained everything to him. So he was touched. He touched the baby's legs and saw how flexible it was. They have damaged these legs, and this was what I would have corrected easily if the baby was brought earlier, he said. As he was speaking, he said a native phrase that sounded so much to Ugomma like those from her maternal side. So she asked him if he comes from there, and he affirmed. The doctor knew Ugomma'S mother's compound so well. This added to the doctor's zeal to help Ugomma. So this was the time they created Abia out of Imo State. He then told Ugomma to hold on. There are 2 orthopedic doctors coming from Abia State. We do follow them to the theater. When I watch them in the theater, I will now know the one better to handle your baby's operation. Only then will I be able to advise you the day to come for clinic, so you wouldn't fall a victim of circumstance, he said. He also told Ugomma to keep coming for POP, pending the time she sees the doctor and schedule the baby for operation. Ugomma kept coming for POP. This time, it was the plastic surgeon himself handling it, and he was doing it on both foot at once. This kept on for a month, while he was also following the doctors that came from Abia into the theater. After he was convinced on the better doctor, he called Ugomma and told her the day to come for clinic. So Ugomma came that day and booked appointments. This made her fall into the hands of the orthopedic doctor the plastic surgeon wanted her to fall into. So on the scheduled appointment date with the orthopedic surgeon, Ugomma went to the hospital early. The doctor examined her baby and scheduled her for operation. So here is the thing. The operation cost slightly above 2,500 naira. Ugomma didn't have the money. She was earning around 300 at that time, and she had been the one paying for the whole POP, which was 80 naira. Just imagine removing 80 naira every 2 weeks from a salary of 300 naira. What is now remaining? But she made a deposit of 800 naira, which was the money her kid sister was saving with her to purchase a sewing machine, though she asked for her permission first before making the deposit. After making the deposit, she now went to sort for the balance payment. She called and visited several friends to borrow her money, but no one had to give her. But when she finally reached one of her elder brothers, who was a top-ranking officer in one of the country's paramilitary agencies, he promised that he would pay the bills. He even reprimanded Ugomma for not reaching out to him earlier. Don't you know you are not meant to delay on issues like this? Ugomma immediately broke out in tears. Stop crying, he said. You will have to try your own best. And even if the operation was not successful, when the child grows up and see the operation mark on her legs, she will know you really tried to make her better. Ugomma became relieved at this point and thanked him. During all of this unrest in the house, there is this habit Somto usually displays, that is Ugomma's first child. Anytime she sees anyone going to church, she runs inside and collects money from her mommy to give to the person. She would tear out a piece of paper. Using her pencil, she would be scrambling on the paper and be saying, "Jesus, please make my sister's legs to be fine so that me and her will be walking together." She will repeat this sentence 2 or 3 times while scrambling. Then she will fold the paper and give to the person, telling the person, "Please help me give this paper to Jesus and the money also." So on this particular day, Somto ran into the room, screaming happily, "Mommy, I just saw Jesus in the parlor." "Come here, my child." Ugomma hugged her and asked, "What did Jesus say, my child?" "Jesus said that he got my message and I should not worry, that my sister's legs will be fine and both of us will be walking together." "Amen," Ugomma screamed with positivity. This incident happened just 3 days to baby's scheduled operation date. So on the day of the operation, Ugomma and baby went to the hospital very early. Baby was number 3 on the list, but people kept advising her to lobby. If not, her baby may not perform the operation that day. But Ugomma refused. There was no way she could pay even if she wanted to, as she doesn't have extra money with her. She just had to trust in God. While all this was going on, an attendant suddenly came out and called the full name of baby, which Ugomma responded, "Your baby is the youngest on the list, so they decided to start from her so she can finish up on time and eat." The attendant said. Immediately, tears rolled down from Ugomma's eyes and she said, "God, you did this." So she followed the attendant to the operation room, where she handed her baby to the nurse for them to begin the operation. The operation didn't last up to 2 hours and baby was brought out of the theater. Congratulations filled the air as the operation was successful. Ugomma and baby remained in the hospital for 1 week before they were discharged. Within that 1 week, baby had always wanted to walk. She kept attempting, but Ugomma kept dragging her down. Poor baby. She wanted to walk the same way every other person was walking, even with the POP on her legs, but she wasn't allowed to do so. So baby's operation was performed when she was 1 year and 5 months. But till this day, she haven't had any issues with the legs. She's many years today and always grateful to her mother, who fought for her to walk like every other person. Thank you so much for watching.